we can share it with Mike if he feels like he wants to do a gentle sometime. Oh, we can't make it. I like to have some on hand. Okay, so true June heat going on today. And we're going to think about cool breezes and cool waterfalls and all that stuff. Bring yourself to a comfortable seat. Just begin to notice your breath filling and emptying in your body. Notice how slowly you can breathe and move this morning. Trying to keep that balance of exertion and heat down just a little bit. We'll listen to the birds. That was like on cue, Mr. Crow. And just begin to get a rhythm for our breath. So remind ourselves today that exertion doesn't need to be heated. We'll try and stay kind of cool, mostly for me, just because I've been really hot. And I still have a day with children ahead of me. So I'm thinking I need to pace myself a little bit. So exertion doesn't mean agony necessarily. And I'm just going to try to find our comfortable spots. Begin with a gentle twist to one side. So crossing one hand over to the opposite knee, using the other hand behind us as a little lever. We're going to inhale, lengthen, and exhale, gently twist. Just see where your body wants to go this morning without any warm-up movement. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. A couple more times on your own. And on your next exhale, let's pull the belly in just a little bit extra as we twist, squeezing that air out as though we're compressing our body to get rid of all that extra stale air. Coming back to center, nice and easy, breathing normally, and coming back over to the other side, crossing hand, one hand behind. Inhale as we lengthen, exhale as we pull belly in and twist. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. A couple more times on your own. And then on your final exhale, pull the belly in a little bit extra, twist a little half an inch further, and then come back gently to center when you feel ready. I'm going to twist again gently to the first side, this time both hands on the knees. We're just twisting the upper body, and then coming around to center and looking over to the other side. So we're twisting shoulders and head over to one side and then the other. Feeling that way deep down into the belly muscles. And coming back one more time, and this time we're going to lean over to the right side. So we'll bring our one side, doesn't matter, bring our hand down, bend our elbow, reach way, way, way over. Stay here for an in breath, stay here for an out breath. Lengthen a little bit more in the torso, maybe look up towards the sky. Maybe open that arm up just a little bit behind you for a nice side stretch. And then bring it down next to the other arms. We're twisting from the hips all the way around. We're in a twisted position as we look down at the floor, maybe even over that back shoulder. Pulling belly in on the exhale, feel it pull in and feel yourself twist a little bit further. Coming back to center, lifting up nice and tall. Take a little stretch, one little twist left, one little twist right. Evening out the body, then we're going to bring our hand down and the opposite hand up to the sky and over. Take your time, come over as you need to, as you like to. Bend or straighten that arm, doesn't matter. On your next inhale, open up just a little bit more, so elbow points behind us a little bit, maybe looking up if it feels good on your neck, and stretch again. Nice, now we'll turn it all the way around and face down to the ground. So shoulders coming somewhat even to the floor and bowing down, feeling that stretch in the middle of the body, in the side of the body. Pull the belly in, twist a little bit more. And then walk yourself up nice and tall back to center. Once more, just over to the side, exhaling. Inhale, lift to center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, lift to center. And coming back nice and easy, let's roll our shoulders nice and wide. Lengthen the neck just a little bit as if someone's pulling you from the very top of the head, lengthening your neck and going the other way. Nice round circles the opposite way. Bring our hands out in front. We're going to clasp them and push our palms towards each other, lifting up nice and tall up to the sky as high as you can. A nice deep breath in, fill, reach with the palms of the hands, and on our exhale, separate and bring them all the way down. Feel like they've just grown an inch longer, all the way down to the ground. Bring them back, cross the arms the other way, cross the fingers the other way, pushing once again away, lifting up nice and tall. Exhale, push down and out. Squeeze the shoulder blades a little bit behind you. Good. Bring them back to center. We're going to clasp them this time. We're going to keep the fingers facing away and the palms facing towards us. Bring them up all the way and gently open the elbows and bend back just a little gentle stretch for the heart, little open heart stretch, little tiny back bend. And on our exhale, pull the belly muscles in and come forward, rounding all the way forward to the earth. Let the head hang, let the arms be stretched out. Sit ourselves up, cross the opposite thumb in front. Just one more, pulling forward, this time palms face up, lifting up again all the way to the sky, gentle bend backwards, bend the elbows, look up if that feels good. And then bring them all the way forward, straighten the arms, fold yourself forward. Feel a little opening in the hips as we fold forward and just let the body rest. Let the body be heavy towards the earth. Unclasp the hands, walk yourself back nice and easy. And we'll bring one leg out and one leg in. That's really hard. Turn over that long leg. I should have warmed up a little before that. Turn over that long leg and fold yourself over nice and easy, very, very gently, not going any further than your body just wants to go naturally. It's almost like a little collapse here. Let the shoulders rest, let the head be heavy. If you gently start to straighten your knee, you're going to feel a stretch in the back of the leg. That's good so long as it doesn't hurt. Just a gentle one. A little bit of an opening in the back of the leg. Keeping that nice opening though in the side body as well. Let's roll ourselves up nice and easy, and we're going to come forward now, keeping exactly the same position. We'll just move ourselves forward, roll ourselves forward, and feel that stretch change just a little bit in the low back. Might also feel it change in the back of the leg. Coming up nice and easy to sitting, and we'll turn the other way, and we're going to come over that knee as well. Come on up nice and easy. We'll switch the legs out. The other one's long. This one comes in wherever it feels right. And when you're ready, we'll just roll over that front leg. Start with a bent knee, and then if you like, you can straighten it a little bit more to see where that stretch comes. If it hurts in the back of the leg, that's not good. We really want to bend that knee softly, but if you need a little bit more of a stretch, you can start to straighten it. Notice where you feel this stretch in your body. Let your head be heavy. Roll yourself up nice and gently to a seated position, and just turn yourself so you're facing forward in between both legs and coming forward for a slightly different version of the stretch. The stretch is a little bit differently, a little different part of the body. Head can be as heavy as you can make it. We'll roll ourselves up very gently when we're ready and turn over that other leg even a little further than the knee. Bring your hands down to the floor and give yourself a little stretch this way. Try to keep the opposite hip down towards the earth. It will lift just a little bit. You'll feel some weight moving off of it, but we'll push it down just a little bit to hold our balance and not lift and fold all the way up. Again, let your head be heavy, let your heart be heavy and soft. And I'm melting the heart. Lifting up nice and tall, back to center. Bring soles of the feet together. And we'll come to our forward fold. Anywhere you like, so feet can be out far, feet can be in close, wherever they feel right. You can hold on or just let your body sink down. If you're holding on, don't make it a really strong pull on your feet or your legs. It's just a little bit of an anchor for you here, so not a strong grip. Let the head relax down. Let the knees open up slightly. Let the head be heavy. Soften the eyes. Let the chin tuck into the chest. Nice. Let's roll it up nice and easy back to center. We'll bring the legs out front, and we'll bring our hands behind us. or a little reverse tabletop. Pull the hips up to the sky, make your body into as flat a line as you can, parallel with the earth. Head can come back or can stay forward. Strong in the arms. Let's move ourselves forward just a little bit for an opening shoulder stretch and move ourselves back just a little bit. So just a little hinge forward and back, just like we do with our plank, but backwards. Come on back to center, sit yourself down nice and easy with your hips. And we'll come on to all fours. So double up your mat underneath your knees if you need to. I kind of need to on this ground. Hands come down, spread nice and wide like starfish, and begin your cat and cows in your own way. Inhaling on your cow rather, if that feels good to you, and exhaling on your cat. Otherwise, just follow the cat and cow wherever it wants to be in your body and breathe however you like. Doesn't always have to be tied in directly with the breath. As long as we're breathing and moving, it's fine. Let's finish up with a flat back wherever you are. Come to your flat, your neutral back. We'll push around with the right, over the right shoulder, looking the head towards the right toes. First one, we're going to keep the hips level, even with where they are now. So this is really an upper body twist. And then keeping the hips where they are, we're going to come to the other side and twist the upper body again. Coming back to center, this time we're going to add the hips. So we'll push the hips to the left as we look over to the right. Much bigger sway here, much bigger stretch. Come back through center over to the other side. And then back to center. This time we're going to move the hips in the same direction that we look. So push the hips to the right, look over the right shoulder. Totally different. This is a stretch for the left side and a contraction for the right side. Swing the hips over to the left, look over the left shoulder. Same thing. Pull the belly muscles in, feel that tightening in the left side of the body. Do this one again, turning over one side. Nice, and then the other. Good. Come on back to center and back to your cat cows, just till you feel comfortable. Tuck your toes here. We're going into toes pose. So flexing the feet, flexing the bottoms of the feet. We're going for that stretch in the sole of the foot, tucking the toes under and gently just walking ourselves back. Putting a little more and a little more weight on the heels until it feels quite tight. Don't go any further than it feels right. Remember that in the morning, this is different than in the evening, and vice versa. Usually mornings are tighter. This might help with plantar fasciitis. And then when you feel like you've had plenty of this, come forward, tuck your toes under, and sit back down on them, on your heels. And if you want, you can lift your knees. You don't have to. Some people find this comfortable, some people don't, so totally up to you. And then bring it back down again. Good. Coming up into all fours, or onto all fours. Let's tuck the toes, come into a little down dog. Don't go too far in this today, just a nice stretch for the back. Let's push the right heel down all the way as far as you can. Feel the stretch in the back of the right leg. Then push the left foot down, letting the right knee bend. And continue walking the dog one foot and then the other. Just a gentle move from one side to the other. Feel the weight shift a little bit from left to right. And then bring them to stationary, maybe a little bit wider than normal, just for a little more comfort. Pushing the heels down a little bit further, pushing into the hands, hips up to the sky. Let the head hang nice and heavy and help you straighten that back. We'll hinge forward nice and long into a high plank. You should be just about in the right position for a high plank. And then push back again, nice and easy. Get that weight off the arms and into the feet. Coming forward one more time into our high plank. And this time dropping the knees. And we'll lower all the way down onto the belly for our cobra pose. So all the way down, nice and easy. Chin or forehead can come to the ground. Hands reposition themselves right underneath the shoulders. Zip the legs up, press the toenails into the earth. On your inhale, lift just the head, the neck, a little bit of the shoulders, and lower it down with your exhale. Let the forehead or chin come all the way down. Inhale, lift up. Follow your own breath, of course. Exhale, lower down. And one more time, lifting up. And this time we're just going to hold for a breath. Push the hips and the toes down to the earth. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the hands, and see how you're doing this all with your back. Hands back down to the ground. Lower all the way down. Bring the forehead to the floor and give yourself a head roll left and right. In case that kind of tweaks your neck a little bit, that cobra. Now we'll bring the hands down onto the ground with the forearms. So elbows directly underneath the shoulders. Hands grip the floor. Feet stay just like they are, press down to the earth. We're going to pull ourselves forward using just our arms. So elbows come back towards hips, shoulder blades come together, heart opens, we're crawling on the ground, Sphinx pose. Stay here for your breath, feel your breath fall and rise. Then we're going to pull the belly in and lift it up off the floor. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears. You can press down a little harder with the toes. Keep breathing and come on down nice and easy. Let's let the heart melt. Shoulders shrug up to the ears. Heart melts down, head is heavy. Toes can relax, maybe big toes come together behind you, heels splay apart, and you're softening your heart down to the earth. Roll yourself up. We're going to do that one more time, pressing toes into the ground. Pulling hands and arms backwards towards the hips, reaching forward with the heart. Why did it do that? It keeps doing that. We think our sensor might be off. Stay in your what am I calling it? Sphinx pose. Pull the belly up, up, up as high as you can. Keep breathing. And then bring it on down nice and soft. Shrug the shoulders again. Let the head hang. Let the heart melt. Then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Zip the legs up one more time. So we're coming up into a slightly higher cobra, letting the arms work this time instead of just the back, and then pushing ourselves back. Did that feel cooler when it left? It's funny. Tuck the toes, come back into your downward and your child's pose rather. Again, full breath, and exhale, let it go. Inhale, fill, exhale, let it go. Reaching forward one more time. This time we're going to widen the legs and come into a full child's pose with heels down. I think what it might do is keep the breeze away a little bit. So we have maybe there was a little breeze that was, well, as long as we don't have a crowd, as long as it's just two of us, we don't have enough shade for three. Forehead down to the ground into your typical child's pose with your arms outstretched and your back nice and long, hips down towards the earth. Let's walk the hands over to the left, getting a nice side stretch again. So wherever they go off the mat is fine. Feel that stretch in the right side of the body. Maybe wiggle the hips just a little bit, settling them down, just another inch or so towards the earth. Staying for a nice deep breath, let it go in and out. Walk the hands back through center, nice and low, and over to the other side. Noticing difference between left and right side. Settling the hips, lowering the elbows, softening the elbows, letting the head hang. Going back through center all the way, reaching the arms forward as far as you can, and then hinging up onto the knees and bringing the knees back together just underneath the hips. For your cat-cows one more time, just a gentle dropping and rounding. See if your cat-cows have changed at all, if you feel a little bit more smooth in the movement, a little more warmed up in the core of the body. Let's try some lunges from here. So we'll keep our left knee down on the ground. We'll bring our right knee forward. Tell me how this feels on your hips, Ellen, okay? Right. So with right foot forward, we're going to use our hands as support, and we're just going to hinge forward and take that weight off some of that back knee and moving it into the front. And here's where you feel your hips sort of twist a little bit. So take advantage of that twist and just twist a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left. Very little getting into deep into that hip. Does that feel okay? Yeah. Okay. So just a gentle twist side to side. Hold it where you feel like you like it. If you want to hold it a little bit longer, that's great. And then we'll come back, heel that front foot down onto the ground. We're going to walk ourselves back and sit down on that heel or to the side of that heel, whichever feels better to you. And we'll flex our extended leg. So with that leg flex, you're going to feel a strong pull in the back of the leg. And then point and then flex. So back and forth a couple of times. Then find it to neutral. And come forward a little bit, give it a stretch. You'll feel this in the back of the leg probably, so only as far as it feels good, comfortable, doable, breathable. Good, and then let's roll it up nice and easy. We'll swing it back to the other. Come back onto all fours, just a quick little cat-cow, resetting the spine and the hips. And we'll bring the left leg forward, sole of the foot onto the floor. Walking the hands forward, left and right of that front foot, and hinging way forward so that the weight comes off the middle of the back of the knee, the middle of the back knee. So it's not really pressured, pushing down into that kneecap. We're hinging forward. As further we go, the more we feel a stretch in the hips. And we're just going to take that stretch and let the hips be heavy and just gently twist it out a little bit, turning a little to the left, turning a little to the right. Loosening up the hips in the socket. Nice, and come back to neutral, push a little bit further, maybe a little more weight into the front leg, opening the hip just a little bit more. And then walking back, using your hands for support, sitting back down on the heel or next to the heel, whichever feels best to you, flexing the foot and pointing the foot. Flexing and pointing a few times, really going as far as you can. And then coming to neutral and finding a little forward fold over that leg. Just enough to feel the stretch in the back of the leg, no more than that. Little opening in the back, maybe. Breathing here, pulling belly muscles in as you fold forward. Rolling up nice and tall. Hands push you forward, bring the knees back together. And come back to your cat-cows one more time. Notice if there's a difference in your cat-cows from the beginning to this point. Let's sit ourselves down and come onto our backs. And find that nice soft spot where you can bend your knees and relax the lower back down into the ground. If it means bringing your knees up to the chest to get it, that's fine. If you can find it with your feet down on the ground, that's fine. But the part I'm talking about is that tilted hip, where you just tilt ever so slightly, tucking the pelvis and letting that lower back rest down into the earth. Let's separate the legs just a little bit wider than hip width distance, and we'll drop them over to the right. Let them go all the way. Come on back to center and let them go all the way to the other side. Come on back to center. And this time dropping over to the first side again. This time we'll take our bottom leg, our ankle of the bottom leg, and let it rest on top of the outer part of the top leg. And let that weight pull it down just a little bit. So shoulders staying on the floor. You're going for this full twist in that open side. And the heaviness of that leg might help open it up a little bit more. See how that feels for your arm. Can be anywhere that feels comfortable. Take a nice deep breath, and on your exhale, see if you can push down just a tiny bit more. Loosen up in that top leg hip. Let it be pulled rather than pulling it. Then let go, nice and easy. And let both knees come up towards the sky and drop over gently to the other side. Same thing on the other side. Once you get your Legs relaxed. You're going to take your bottom leg ankle, place it on top of your top leg outer knee, and give it a gentle pull down. See what this might activate on this side. May feel different than the other. If this is uncomfortable, if you don't like this particular stretch, just let both legs go. You don't have to have that extra weight, but most people kind of like it. Staying here for your inhale, exhale, pushing a little bit further. Inhale, staying here, exhale, pushing a tiny bit more. And we'll come out of that nice and easy. Top leg comes down. Both feet come to the floor. Gentle windshield wipers, as with the feet as wide as you like or as close as you like, doesn't matter. Just left and right, opening up the hips again. We'll do both pigeons today. We'll do one on the floor, crossing right leg over left at the ankle. Reaching hands into the triangle and around the triangle to hold on to the back of that thigh, and giving yourself a gentle pull in with the arms. So pulling if your right leg is across, your left leg is being pulled in by your hands. And you feel a little opening in the right hip, right around here, sciatic area. If you like, you can move your leg side to side, the one that's sticking out. And that kind of intensifies and de-intensifies the stretch. You can really see where you're working, feel where you're working here. You can straighten the leg all the way up if you like that. Some people find a much better stretch this way. It doesn't seem to help me at all, but some people it does. And you can bring it back down, sole of the foot onto the floor. Let the arms come out wherever they feel comfortable. We're just going to rock gently to the right and left with the feet still in this figure four position, or legs still in this figure four position. So once you come to one side, let it rest for a moment. Then use the core muscles to lift up, cross over the other way, and let the legs twist all the way over to the other side. Do this one or two more times, depending on your pace. And then come on back to center and unwind the legs. Get that middle of the back, or that low back rather, down onto the floor again by tilting the hips a little bit, making sure you're nice and comfortable in the low back. And then cross the other leg over and press away at the knee for just a moment to make that a nice wide stretch. Then bring your hand into the triangle, other hand around the thigh, clasping together behind you and pulling in gently with the arms. Making the body heavy, making the lower body heavy, so the arms are doing the pulling work and the bottom of the body is being stretched. Maybe you sway your leg out and in and notice how it intensifies that stretch when you come out and then softens it as you come back in. Find the spot that's perfect for you and then pull one more time. If you like, you can straighten the leg if you get it on the other side. You can walk your legs out, your hands up the leg, whatever feels right to you. And if that doesn't seem to do anything for you, just keep the hands where they are and bend the knee, however it feels right. Let's release with the hands and bring the heel down onto the floor, sole of the foot on the floor. And again, that little windshield wiper side to side. So keeping the cross leg, we're dropping over to one side and then the other. Engaging the core as we bring the legs up and over. Keep going one more time or two more times, whatever feels right to you, depending on your pace. And then unwind the legs. Let's stretch them all the way out, leading with the heels, straightening the legs, flexing the feet, reaching as tall as we can, bring the arms up overhead, maybe hook the thumbs together and pull the arms away from the center of the body while the feet go away from the center of the body, coming as long as we can. Then let everything settle back towards the midline, so knees and elbows gently bend, however they feel good. Then we're going to stretch the right hand away, fingertips touching the ground or fingernails touching the ground, and left foot away. So in a diagonal, reaching away from the body. You can point or flex the foot, whatever feels good to you. Reach away with your hands, reaching away with your fingertips, feeling a long line from the left heel to the right fingertips. Bring that back down to center, into center, and let the body just rest for a moment. And then same thing in the left side and the right foot. So left arm reaching out, right foot reaching out, leading with the heel or the toes, whichever feels best for your foot, reaching as high as you can with the fingers. Fingernails touch the ground, but the arm is off the ground slightly. And then soften back down to the midline. Now, like we're doing star pose, but we're on our backs, flex the feet or point the feet, reach the fingers away in a Y shape, and just feel all the diagonals of the body. So energy coming from the toes to the opposite fingers, fingers to the toes. And then let the arms rest down. Let the back come back to neutral. Roll the head gently left and right in case the neck got a little tight on that. Then roll over to one side and we'll come back up to a seat and we'll move to pigeon on the floor. So if your pigeon on the floor is, this is a hard one for some people, so use your blocks or whatever you need to do that. Maybe a little cat-cow before you start, totally up to you. Bring your right leg in front, cross it over the mat, and then step gently back with the left foot. Perfect, until you feel a nice opening in that hip. Good check with the back, making sure that the toes are in line and you're not sickling in or out. And you can use your arms here to gently sway side to side. You can reach the arms up for a little bit harder. You bring the fingertips to the ground, lift up nice and tall. And then softly lower yourself down. For kind of a passive stretch here. You're already in the stretching position and you're just letting your weight come down onto the body with gravity. This feels super easy. You walk your foot forward, your front foot forward. If it feels hard, you walk it back towards the heel. Tiny, tiny steps, maybe like 1 inch at a time to get where you want to be. Feel the softening in your hips. Allow everything in the hips to just melt as though they're dropping down towards the earth. And also make the head nice and heavy. The weight of the head alone can just open up the back sometimes. Walk your hands up nice and, well, let's stay a little more. Let's stay another little half a minute or so. Settling down one more time. Sometimes I go too fast. Take your last breaths here on your exhale, releasing any extra tightness that you have in your hip. So your inhale, you stay neutral. Your exhale, you really encourage that hip to soften and relax. See if that brings any changes into the pose for you. And lift the head, bring the hands, both hands, palms of the hands down onto the ground. Walk yourself up nice and easy. We're going to sit on that folded hip. So we'll sit onto the right hip, nice and easy. And we'll swing the other leg around. And we'll come into our forward fold again, soles of the feet together. Just a gentle forward fold. Maybe you can notice here the difference in the opening of each hip. Now that you're here, we'll keep that right foot in front and we'll swing the left foot, opposite, around, you know what I mean, the other right. My left foot's in front and right leg is walking itself back nice and easy. Remember, start close to the hip with that leg. Don't go any further than is comfortable. Wiggle your way in a little bit left and right. Maybe now you want to walk it forward a tiny bit more, maybe not. We'll bring the shoulder blades together, bring the hands to the sides, reach up, push with the fingertips, open the heart. And then come on down to your gentle forward fold, your sleeping pigeon. Elbows and arms come down to the earth. And just soften your way in. Again, if you feel like you need to move very little bit, if it's too much, pull it just an inch toward your heel towards your hip. If it's not enough, pull your heel an inch away from your hip. And always go further. Once you go too tight and everything tightens up, it's really hard to get out of it. Maybe try swaying left and right a little bit, moving the weight from one side to the other. Sinking into your pose however it feels right to you. Just bring awareness to that hip, the one that's bent, the one that's stretched, your left hip. And see if you're holding any extra tension in there that really doesn't need to be there. And with your next exhale, see if you can release that tension. See what happens if the muscles soften a little bit more and the body goes a little bit further to the earth. Notice the rise and fall of the body. And here's where I'd normally come up, and I'm going to just have you stay for a few more breaths, settle in just a little bit longer. Make the head as heavy as you can for the last few breaths here. When you feel ready, walk yourself up with your arms. Bring the weight onto that bent left hip. And carefully swing your right leg back around so the soles of the feet once again are together. And this time we'll come into turtle pose. So bring the feet a little bit further out than you might normally do. Bring your hands into that triangle or diamond shape and slide them underneath both legs. And give yourself a nice pull down with the arms. Palms can be up or down. Stretching from the lower back all the way to the head, letting the head be heavy. Rolling up gently. Starting with the base of the spine, lifting up nice and tall. Into your tall seated position. Bring the legs together with the help of your hands. And then let them slide all the way down to the ground. Long legs. We're going to sit up in a tall L shape for staff pose. So arms come up above the head, flexing the feet gently. Soft knees though. Inhale, reaching up to the sky, and on the exhale, gently folding ourselves forward. Reaching down towards the toes, towards the ankles, wherever you reach. Hold on wherever you are, and a gentle pull forward with the head heavy. On the inhale, we'll round ourselves up nice and easy, lifting up nice and tall to the sky. Bend the knees, and we'll lower ourselves down gently to the spine, to the back. Once we're all the way down, we'll bring the knees in for a nice hug. And then we'll place the knees down onto the ground. Let's come into our bridge pose. Hands begin at the sides, palms face down, tilt the pelvis, peel the back up off the floor, lifting the hips to the sky. Bring the shoulder blades together underneath the back, lifting the heart even higher. Head stays looking straight up to the sky. Pushing a little harder in the feet, a little harder in the legs, and lowering down nice and easy, top to bottom, all the way down to the earth. We'll separate the legs a little bit more, walk the heels out one more step, and drop the knees left and right. Let's do one more bridge. Bring your feet back together, back underneath the, underneath the knees, close to the hips, and push again into the soles of the feet, tilt the pelvis, move the back, lifting the back one vertebra at a time up to the sky, chin to chest. Option to clasp the hands underneath the body, underneath the back, and push the hands down to the earth. That can help lift the heart a little bit more. Pushing strong into the feet, strong into the legs. Undo the hands if they're clasped, lower down nice and easy, slowly as you can, one vertebra at a time, starting from the top, moving to the bottom. Nice, let the knees drop side to side one more time. And then bring the hands around, give yourself a nice hug, knees into the chest. You can rock here or stay still, whatever feels best for your body right now. We'll hold on to the right knee, give it a nice hug in towards the armpit. So a little bit away from the center line, out just a little bit, and let the left leg stretch down. As you pull in with the knee down towards the ground, feel the hip opening up and let the leg relax. Let it be stretched here by the arms rather than working. It's not doing any work, you're just giving it a nice pull in the socket. Then release the hands, but keep the knee over the chest, and we'll do some nice wide circles here, moving the hip in the socket in one direction. And then in the other direction. Good. Let the right knee the right heel come down to the ground. Grab your hands around the left knee, again pulling towards the armpit as far as you can, pulling downward. Opening up that leg, letting it relax. And then release, let the knee stay over the chest and come into some nice wide circles with the left hip. Go the other way. And let it stretch out next to the other leg. Let's separate the feet just a little bit, wide enough so that you can turn the toes in towards each other and then apart from each other. So back and forth, we're actually moving in the hip socket here, in and out. And then shake it out and let the legs take whatever position they would like for Shavasana. So it can be up the wall or up the railing if you're close to something like a wall or a chair. Rest your calves on the chair. This will give that lower back a little extra love today. Otherwise, of course, bent knees are fine or straight legs are fine. We're just going to let the body melt a little bit down into the earth. Begin to notice the sounds around us. Sounds far away. Sounds close up. It's quiet enough to hear sounds inside. Pick all the sounds, whether they're natural or man-made. part of your meditation and your awareness today. Feel your body rise with the filling of the breath and soften with the exhale. Excuse me. Bring your awareness to your toes and your fingers, outer edges of your body. Wiggle the toes and fingers or move them in any way that feels like it's waking up for you. Then bring a little rotation into the ankles and the wrists in one direction and then the other. And then bending the knees if they're not already bent and dropping them gently side to side. Bringing some movement into the lower body. The knees drop you to the left or the right, rolling onto that left or right side, using bottom arm as a pillow for your head. Relaxing the muscles of your face. From forehead down into eyebrows, into eyelids, into cheeks, into mouth, teeth, tongue, chin, jaw, neck, and throat. Use both arms to walk you up, putting as much pressure on the arms as you can, keeping the body nice and relaxed, and then coming to a comfortable seat. Bow our head for just a moment, feeling a nice stretch in the back of the neck, dropping the shoulders, pushing them down towards the earth. We'll roll the left ear over the left shoulder. Just feeling that nice stretch in the opposite side of the neck. And coming back to center, dropping chin to chest and bringing the other ear over the other shoulder. Back to center. And rolling up nice and tall. Hands come into the heart, tapping gently at our heart. And then bringing into stillness our thumbs, meeting our heart center. So apparently all the flights come and leave at 10:20 in the airport. Bring our hands up to our forehead. It's a reminder to think kind thoughts. To our heart, to our lips is a reminder to speak kind words. And to our heart is a reminder to spread kindness wherever we go. Peace, peace, peace to you. Om Shanti Shanti Om. Many thanks.